Hello and welcome to Bird Talk Radio. I am your host, Joshua Martin. I'll be going over the games, the scores, and, everything Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. Now let's start the show. Oh, wait, where was my, the intro? Whatever. Hello and welcome to Bird Talk Radio. I'm your host, Joshua Martin. Today, I got like a special little Bird Talk episode, I guess. And if you're watching right now, you could be better to call in at 888-994-4995 Studio A. All right, we can start the show and bring in our beautiful guest, Mr. Houston Kelman, and there he is.
Howdy. Thanks for having me.
What? Don't say howdy.
It's just me saying hello.
I don't want any FSU slang. I don't want any FSU.
I have to be like a Cowboys fan because I'm portrayed as a Cowboys fan.
I didn't know what else to put there. What do you want me to put there? Boston fan?
No, don't do that.
You want to talk about Xander Bogaerts?
I'll live. No, nothing Boston Red Sox. That's just depressing. It's just depressing to talk about that organization. It's so unfortunate, but.
I'll be doing what I usually do, kinda. But it's just going to be a little more back and forth conversation of sports and just sharing our sports knowledge. And yeah,
should be fun.
So Thursday was Jacksonville versus New York Jets.
Trevor Lawrence is a guy.
Trevor Lawrence is back. Not back, but he's finally coming into his professional NFL form.
Yeah.
It shows you how bad Urban Meyer was.
Yeah, it's amazing. Urban Meyer's gone.
There's a stat. It was the first time in NFL history a coach has been fired in their first season of coaching. And this happened twice. Urban Meyer last year, he only lasted 13 games.
Yeah.
And then
Nathaniel Hackett
only lasted 15 games.
Yeah. Which is a totally different conversation. Nathaniel Hackett in Denver is just...
Yeah, is it him bringing Russell down, or is it Russell just being...
Russell?
He's just working out on the plains.
Leave it at Russell. It's Russell, but we'll get into that.
Russ Cook. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence played good, 229 passing yards, 31. They beat the Jets 19-3, and with Tennessee's loss, I think they did lose.
They did.
Who did they play? See, this is what I do. Oh, they lost to the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, with that big loss to Tennessee, they have the same record as Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think they do meet up one of these last two games.
I know they played, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, they played Jacksonville 1, and then I know Tennessee's lost I think it's 4 games in a row or 5 games in a row. They started 7-3, and now they're really bad right now. And they lost Ryan Tannehill, which is never going to help losing your starting QB, but they usually have these problems getting closer to the playoffs because everyone realizes that if you stop Derrick Henry,
oh, you ready for this?
Everything gets a little bit more complicated.
Week 18, Tennessee at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And they got the same record now. Tennessee plays Dallas
on Thursday.
This Thursday coming up, which is going to be a tough game for them, obviously. Yeah. And then Jacksonville goes into Houston, playing Houston.
Yeah,
Houston's been playing good. They almost beat Dallas. They almost beat the Chiefs right after that. They just beat the Titans.
Yeah, they had a really good close game with
They're on a
Dallas.
Weird roll.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. They had, 3 wins 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so
they're 3-14.
Jacksonville might win the AFC South, which is hopeful.
I would, honestly, if I were to bet on it, I would have to take Jacksonville because, top to bottom, they're better. You can really say they are better than...
Yeah, you know who's out too? Ryan Tannehill. I forgot he's out for the season. Malik Willis is in. Mm-hmm. And he's not yet throwing the ball.
They don't want him to throw the ball. They lost A.J. Brown last year.
That play action with Derrick Henry and him is probably scary.
Yeah, because, think about it. They run the ball, and, even though they know what the defenses know what's coming, they still can't stop Derrick Henry 70% of the time.
That's what they say about Lamar. They know what they're going to do, but you still got to stop the man.
I think speaking of Baltimore, I know Lamar hasn't played in 3 weeks now, and my fantasy team is hurting because of it. But they had their first receiving touchdown in I think it was 5 or 6 weeks throwing, and it was Huntley threw it to, I think, Duvernay.
Oh, yeah, it says right here. Tyler Huntley did 115 passing yards. 9 of 17, but he did get that passing touchdown, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jacksonville beat Jets. Zach Wilson, 92 passing yards, 9 of 18. He's probably gone at the end of the year.
Unfortunately, he'll never play in New York again.
He's probably
He'll never he might land in, Bushway mentioned this to me, actually. Nick mentioned this to me this morning. He might play in Denver, which would be a long shot. But give the guy a second chance.
Oh, God.
If Russell just doesn't cut out his stuff now.
No, he's going to come out and he's going to be prime time now. Prime time Russ. Atlanta, Baltimore. That was a decent game as well. Baltimore won that one 17-9. Like I said, Tyler Huntley had the lone touchdown pass. Desmond Ridder came in. He did a little better than last week as well. 218 passing yards, 22-33, but
last week was not good for Desmond.
It was terrible.
Last week it started really bad.
Passing yards.
Yeah, but the first half was just so bad, and then the second half it did get better. But like he was still terrible. And again, they don't have Kyle Pitts. They've had Kyle Pitts in like all year. He's been on IR, which is it's not going to help. Like you guys.
They got Drake London. But he's a rookie wide receiver. He's actually doing pretty good for them actually too. But I miss the days of Roddy White and Julio Jones side by side.
Matt Ryan wasn't blowing.
A young Matt Ryan.
Oh my gosh.
Detroit and Carolina. A game that Detroit really needed to win, especially if they wanted to get that wild card spot.
Yep.
I think Carolina has a wild card spot too now. They don't have a wild card spot actually. They have a division title spot that they can win because Buccaneers, I believe they did one, so they are 7-8 now on the season, which is very surprising.
There's a lot of teams that are sitting with the same record, like right in that area, 7-8.
That's what I'm saying. The NFC South, that whole division is just kind of combobulated. I don't know if that's a word or not.
Combobulated.
Tampa Bay 7-8, Carolina is 6-9, and New Orleans is 6-9.
That whole division is so
bad. It's still up for grabs for that division. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure Buccaneers are probably going to win that division, but Carolina's not looking that bad with Sam Darnold behind them. 250 passing yards, 15 of 22. DJ Moore, 83 receiving yards, 1 touchdown.
They have a lot of young talent. It's just like, I feel like all the talent is so like frail in a way, or fragile in a way. It's just like
they got rid of Matt Rule this year, right?
Yes.
It was this year.
Before the start of this year, didn't? Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think it was during the season. Yeah, it was during the season. It was like week 5 or something like that. They got rid of him.
Oh, you're right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Yeah, they definitely did.
Maybe that's the little.
It might have been even earlier than week 5.
That's the little turnaround that they needed.
Yeah, it's ending better than it started. But again, Detroit is Detroit. They're just like a coin flip every week. Like they play Buffalo really well, and it's like they might beat them, and then they lose to like really good teams, and then they beat decent teams, and then they go and play a team like Carolina that hasn't made a lot of noise all year. They got manhandled in a sense.
Here's the thing, Detroit, I believe they have a number 1 pick from someone. I can't think of off the top of my head.
It could be the Rams. Yeah, the Rams don't have a single pick for like 3 years. They just gave away everything.
They have their first round pick. So do they go out and get a quarterback, or they stick with Jared Goff and they build that defense? Because the defense is what's really hurting them. They have one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah, no, when they played Minnesota, that you saw that because they both teams put up like 500 yards of total offense. It was like, all right, no one's going to stop anyone this game. But yeah, if honestly, Jared Goff has played extremely well this year compared to how he was like when he had what he had in St. Louis and Los Angeles with the Rams.
You didn't say St.
I
Louis.
wish it was St. Louis. But when he was in when he was playing for the Rams organization, like the ceiling was like that bar was set extremely high because they did go to the Super Bowl, and like if he doesn't, like same type of Jimmy Garoppolo thing, like if he doesn't miss a few passes here or a few passes there, like.
That's the thing. He just needs to be a good quarterback. He doesn't need to be
the showstopper.
Yeah. They got Jameson Williamson.
Yep, and they also DeAndre Swift.
Oh, that combo is absolutely dirty.
They just have to stay healthy. They have to stay healthy. Swift has been on and off being injured. When Williams plays, he's decent, but like, I don't think he's a running back 1, an RB1 to say. I don't know. A lot of good pieces there. They have Sewell, who they like to throw on a bootleg, which is the greatest thing I've ever seen. He's all of 330 pounds.
Did you
and
see Dan Campbell's post game about that? He didn't know
Yeah,
what was going on.
yeah, he was
said it
watching the
too
wave
loud.
going around in the stadium, and he was watching the wave, and he heard the people in the headset, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, do whatever you want." And then he looks up, and his offensive tackle or lineman's catching the ball 5 yards down the field, and he almost had a heart attack. He's awesome, though. I love Dan Campbell. All the coaches should be like him.
Buffalo, Chicago. I don't want to talk about that because
Bushra would get too much joy out of it. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. I don't think he'll win the MVP this year, but he's going to be in the conversation.
I hope they give. They're probably going to give it to Mahomes because he's having another extraordinary year. But I think Jalen Hurts deserves it, even though I guess he is injured now and probably won't be playing the rest of the regular season. But
I'm 100%. I agree with that. If he would have finished this year out and say he doesn't hurt the shoulder, bearing Patty Mahomes doing what he could do in the last 2 games and going 2 weeks ago, he had 118 passer rating. He was 36 of 41 against. I know it's Texas. I know it's the Houston Texans, and I know they're not the greatest team by a long shot. 36 of 41 playing NFL football, and I don't think he had a turnover.
he just has fun out there. That's all.
He's playing backyard football, and everyone looks like they can't keep up. And no one really acknowledges it because he's been doing it for 3 years, and everyone's like, he's supposed to do it. No, anything could happen. He couldn't be this good with, if he was just hair worse, it'd be breaking news. Because he's the greatest quarterback in the league for the last 5 years. No one,
At least we get to see who's coming into fruition and going to be the next GOATs and all that. We get to see the next line of people coming in.
We got a good set of talent to watch.
We got the Saints in Cleveland. That game, I think the wind chill was negative 12. I wouldn't be able to handle it at all.
There's snow on the ground in I almost said Colorado, in Cleveland, and you could tell the weather conditions were not good.
Oh, it was terrible.
You could tell. It was cold. It was windy. Cleveland's kicker. Did you see any of his kicks?
No, I was watching. I think it was the Patriots and Bengals.
Yeah.
Everyone kept missing the extra points.
Yeah.
And even the field goals, they didn't want to do it.
Belichick couldn't even get mad, and his big thing is special teams. If you win special teams, that's why you're they're always consistently good. It's a big reason.
Remember, I think it was the Chargers, 2013 or something, 2011, Phillip Rivers Chargers. They had the number 1 defense, number 1 offense, but they didn't make the playoffs because of the special teams.
Yeah. You miss every extra kick. Every time you punt the ball away, it doesn't pin them back anywhere. It's always a touchback, if not worse. But the Cleveland kicker, I'm pretty sure there was a few kicks where they weren't even extra points, but they were field goals, and he kicked one, and it just went. It just left the screen, it left the TV screen. You saw the wind just take it and basically throw it into the bleachers.
Yeah, this weekend has been a little rough.
Chance.
A little rough for everyone in the NFL because the conditions were bad.
Yeah.
The Saints won that one though, 17-10. Seattle and Kansas City. Seattle, another big shot to go to win. They already lost the division, but they need to keep winning to make the wild card. Mm-hmm. They got to worry about the Packers now. They got to worry about the Lions and all of the NFC East because I think that all of the NFC East is still in the wild card. I think either Washington or Giants are out and Green Bay's in, but
I think Washington's out because they lost to the Giants the last time they played, and they had the same exact record, and then they played, unless the other team lost out or loses out. But you were saying the Seahawks, they need to win. They need to win to keep the spot they have. They started so well, and everyone was like, Geno Smith is a guy.
They're still putting him in the MVP category.
Okay, come on now.
That's just what I'm saying. But he'll probably win the 5th. I don't know, but. Chiefs won that one. Mahomes obviously does amazing. 224 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 24-10 in that one.
He had a rushing touchdown too. Did you see it? He jumped from
he jumped
the 4-yard line.
He touched the outside of the pylon, but of course that still counts though.
Tapped the pylon on the top of it and just fell out of bounds. And they were like, "What do you want me to do?" There's no way you could really stop it unless you hit him before he leaves.
One of the most exciting games: Giants and Vikings.
What are the Vikings? The best worst team of all time.
No, they're good.
They were down 33-0. I know they made the comeback, and I know they're extremely good for that.
The Vikings or the Giants you're talking about?
The Vikings.
Yeah, okay, the Vikings are not good.
They're the best. That's what I'm saying. They're the best worst team.
Yeah.
The best worst team.
I mean, look at the division. They got the Packers who are not doing good. They got the Lions who are the Lions. They got the Bears.
Yep.
So I would hope they would win at least 6 games.
Yeah.
But Justin Jefferson, 133 receiving yards. 1 touchdown. He does it every week.
He's gonna break the record,
He already did.
like the season record. He's
Yeah.
at 16. Isn't it more than that? I thought it was more than that.
No,
like
no,
the
no, no,
overall
no.
record.
Not the. They were talking about something. He passed Randy Moss for something. I'm pretty sure it's like a Minnesota franchise record.
Yeah,
but
he just. I wish he gets out of Minnesota. That's all I'm gonna leave it at, because he's bailing out a bad quarterback with how he's the best wide receiver in the league right now. He's better than Devontae Adams, and we can really say that because he has Derek Carr throwing him the ball, which isn't a highlight. And like the other options aren't just like every ball thrown to Justin Jefferson, no matter where it's thrown, how it's thrown, he's gonna catch it. He's gonna absorb the hit. He's breaking every record. No one can stay in front of him.
well, the thing is, he's usually wide open too with his routes.
Yeah, no, his routes are ridiculous.
Yeah.
he's the best receiver in the league.
He's gonna go to Cincinnati. He's gonna
Would
go back.
love it, and
go
I don't
back
like
to the
Cincinnati
LSU
like
days.
that. I
What?
would I like Cincinnati, but like
Cincinnati's
I'm not
probably
like
my third favorite team now.
that's fair.
I love Burrow
That's
so
fair.
much.
Burrow's awesome. Jamar Chase is awesome. I still wish they would have taken Sewell. Because
No,
that
because
man
they wouldn't
needs
have
help.
Jamar Chase.
No, and I understand. And
They wouldn't
Jamar
make
Chase
it to
is
the
awesome,
Super
and that
Bowl
was a
and all that.
phenomenal pick. But like, get that man some help. Like he's gonna have 2 broken legs if they don't.
Well, speaking of Cincinnati, they played New England this past game. The first half, it looked like it was complete domination. It looked like Joe Burrow was going to throw for 7 touchdowns.
Again,
But he comes out 375 passing yards, 40 of 52. I wouldn't even throw the ball 50 times in a game.
I don't think they have a running back.
They got Joe Mixon.
Yeah, do that.
T. Higgins did pretty good, actually, 128 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. And don't quote me on this because this was from Red Zone, but they were talking like there was chants out in the New England crowd saying we want Bailey Zappi instead of Mac Jones.
Yeah, I heard. I didn't hear that exact quote, but I heard that Mac was not having a warm welcome. He was not getting any form of warm welcome from his.
Yeah, because they've been
his friends.
spoiled for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Those whiny little New England fans, God,
They'll never stop either,
I know.
and they'll probably start winning again pretty soon, which is so unfortunate.
Texans and Titans. Houston won that one 19-14, a big loss for Tennessee.
Derrick Henry is a freak.
126 rushing yards, 23 carries, 1 rushing touchdown. That rushing touchdown that he had was absolutely beautiful.
He just walked right through the offensive, defensive line. Everyone just kind of looked at him, and he got pushed over if he looked at him.
And it's
then
not like
he just
he's-
continued on his way.
It's not like he's hitting like the outside where
No,
like
he's running.
everyone's where he's free and just running down the field. He was running through the middle
Yeah.
and making
Inside
his way
hands
to the
off.
outside.
Inside handoffs, going right through the tackles. First guy probably just got scared, jumped around him. The second guy gets stiff-armed, and then it's just a foot race, and no one really wants to catch him. He's Derrick Henry.
Basically. We got Washington, San Francisco. That one was a dominant performance by San Francisco.
They're a problem.
Heineke played a little
They're a
bit.
legit
Carson
problem.
Wentz, he came and played a little bit, but George Kittle and Brock Purdy, that connection is. When a quarterback comes in and doesn't know who to throw to, you know he's always going to throw a tight end because it's a safe bet because he's the biggest man out there.
Yeah,
and of
it's
course
hard-
when
it's
you
hard to
have
miss.
a top 3 tight end in the league of George Kittle.
I was going to say this when you were done, but like he run blocks so effectively that
That's what he's best at, but he can go out there and just be an actual tight end too at the same time.
He can play the same game as Travis Kelce on the sense of every time you hike the ball, I can run a route and I can be open 7 out of 10 times. Legitimately, he can be open 7 out of 10 times effectively. But he chooses, I don't know if he's choosing to, but they put him in a run blocking scenario or a blocking scenario the majority of the time, and it shows when he chooses to like, hey, I'm gonna run this route and I'm gonna be option 1 or 2. Like, watch this, and then like obviously there's parts where Purdy had the scramble, the 35-yard, or I think it was 35 yards, where Kittle got lost in the defense because he came back across the zone and he got hit, and then he was running down the field like a gazelle because he's 6'8".
Shanahan has so many options. You can do, like you said, run
They don't have
block
Debo.
with George Kittle. They play action it with Christian McCaffrey.
I couldn't tell you how they got that.
And then if Brock Purdy doesn't see a hole, he pulls it back.
That's
George
a
Kittle
passing.
runs out for a little route and just dumps it off to him. They got so many options that they can rely on.
They haven't had Debo in 5 weeks, 4 weeks.
I can't tell you, but I know they've been on a 5-game win streak though.
and they haven't had Debo for any of the games. Maybe the first game of the 5-game win streak, they might have had him, but he hurt his knee or his ankle, and it wasn't like season ending. But they don't want to put him back in same type of thing as the Odell Beckham thing. He doesn't want to play regular season games when he's so valuable to the team that's going to make the playoffs. Yeah. But like no one wants to play. Like Dallas and Philadelphia are projected to play in the first round of the playoffs right now, and winner of that game has to play the winner of the Giants and the 49ers. Nobody wants to play them.
No.
Because their defense is legit, and that offense never ends.
I've been saying it for the probably past 3 or 4 weeks now. The two teams I'm scared of is Dallas and San Francisco in the NFC.
I'm telling you right now, you don't have to be scared of Dallas like you have to be scared of San Fran.
Oh, I know.
Like, we have Parsons. I get it. We have Parsons. And, like, when we played you guys this past week, which was a great game, that was an awesome game, and it was high scoring, and there wasn't a lot of defense, which everyone really thought, like, Dallas's defense was going to do something.
Myra, you can pull up that one photo, by the way, too, now.
So I was watching Ryan Clark and Dan Orlarski talk about on Get Up, and how, because they go over, like, certain plays and stuff. They went at the corners of Philly, like Dallas's offense did, which is weird because
they were talking about that one play, the 3rd and 30, I think it was.
The 3rd and 30.
I think it was 3rd and 30 for Dallas, and they converted on it, and they were already down a touchdown. This was like late in the game too.
Right? Yeah, it was second
3rd
half.
and 30, and Darius Slay gave up a huge conversion on.
It was I wasn't even referring to this, but they were talked about this. They spoke about this too. It was a miscommunication, and because they had. I wouldn't know his name, but you might. You guys have one of your corners was in, and he doesn't start, but he was a backup.
No, Vontae Maddox is injured.
Blackshear is his last name.
Okay, yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
And he's playing underneath Slay, obviously, and there was a total miscommunication between one of the players coming across in the flat. I think it was Schultz, and then obviously there was the fade route up the sideline, and it was completed, and that's how everything transpired. But the CeeDee Lamb, where he tucks his chain in on the 8-yard line, and then he takes 2 steps, and then the corner sits down on the route because he thinks he's going to turn it into a hitch and get hit like right there just for the first down, and now you're on the 2-yard line, and he like sits on it, and then he goes right to the corner, and it's a touchdown. They like take the lead, and it's like the last offensive touchdown they scored, and it was like game breaking, and that's what they were talking about, Dan and Ryan. They were like, no one throws on Philadelphia. Like, no one takes deep shots on Philadelphia and does a good job. Like, you might get 1, you might get 2, like on a play action boot or something. Like, Dallas threw at them. Like, threw at CeeDee Lamb like 8 or 9 times, like the entire game. Like, they just kept throwing to him.
That's what they were saying. Because Philly and Dallas, they have one of the best defenses in the league. They were surprised of how the game ended. I mean, Dallas won 40-34. It was a high-scoring offensive game.
Yeah, no, it was.
Gardner Minshew threw for 355 passing yards. Dak threw for 347. 2 touchdowns for Gardner Minshew, 3 touchdowns for Dak. I mean, just complete offensive domination for both teams that surprisingly have good defenses. And what hurt Philly the most, obviously, is
not having Hurts.
They're not just having Hurts, but those turnovers.
Yeah.
Minshew threw for 2 interceptions. Miles Sanders had a costly fumble.
Yes.
And I think we had 4 turnovers, so I think Minshew had a fumble as well, too. But
I think that game goes drastically different if you guys have Jalen behind center, and you know it.
Well,
and
here's the thing. Philly has to win. We have to beat the Saints or simply beat the Giants, and we get the number 1 seed. And as long as we get the number 1 seed, we have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, obviously, except for the Super Bowl.
Which is huge,
and then
especially in Philly.
I'm happy with that. That's all I need.
If you guys have Jalen, I mean, I know you guys don't plan on having Jalen for the end of this regular season.
Well, he'll be back for playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. So if you guys don't say you guys lose out, which and I'm not a Philly fan, but I don't think you will lose out. They expect you play the Saints and who else?
Saints and the Giants for the last game.
You guys aren't. You most likely won't lose either of those games.
And the New Orleans game is in Philly.
You guys shouldn't lose either.
We shouldn't lose that one. So that's what I'm saying. We should have Gardner Minshew just play the rest of the season, keep Jalen Hurts healthy, and then he'll be ready.
I don't think he's
fully healthy.
I don't think they anticipate playing him.
Oh, okay,
do you think they do?
No.
Okay.
Really
quick.
I'm pretty sure they'll be smart about it.
If you guys say you guys did lose out, hypothetically speaking, you guys do lose your last 2 games against the Saints and
what?
Whatchamacallit, the Saints and the Giants, who has the 1 seed? Would it be? It wouldn't be Dallas.
No, Vikings will have the 1 seed.
Okay. I didn't know off the top of my head.
You guys can still win the division, though. That's the thing.
Yeah. But it wouldn't give us the 1 seed overall.
No.
Because we have 4 losses.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Vikings can lose out too, though.
Okay, then.
Dallas can get the 1 seed, obviously, but it's a
it comes down to
long
picking.
and winding road.
Yeah.
Vegas, Pittsburgh, another sad loss for the Raiders. 13-10.
I had to turn that game off. I thought the Raiders were going to win that game. I was like, Derek Carr will do something. He'll do something.
Green Bay, Miami.
3 interceptions.
If you want to pull up that quick image of Tua real quick as well, Mayor. Do you want to? Yeah, I guess I can cover the stat real quick. Let me pull it up.
I have it on my phone if you want it.
Oh, I have it actually.
Oh, you have it right there? Oh, no, it went away.
So Tua, this is a stat right here because he is in concussion protocol right now as well. Pre-concussion for Tua, 9 of 12, 229 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, all right? Tua goes down with a huge hits the back of his head on going down, you know? And post-concussion, 7 of 13, 81 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And these interceptions weren't...
Costly.
They weren't, like, trying to throw it in a tight window or anything. They were...
He missed.
Kind of to the receiver, basically.
He missed.
One was over Tyreek. It just flew right over his head and right into the hands of Jair Alexander.
Yeah, they interviewed Jair after the game, and he was talking about how he saw Tyreek motion, because Tua motions Tyreek across the line, and he gets from the right side of the field to the left hash. And then once he gets to the left hash, Jair says he saw him coming over, and he goes, "Oh, this dude's fast." So he goes, "I start to back up a little bit." And then I'm pretty sure Tyreek ran like some form of like dig route or like an in. Yeah. And when he did, Tua missed him. Like Tua missed him by like a handful of feet above his head. And Tyreek's not the biggest dude like available, especially as a wide receiver option. But like again, like he has his benefits. If you do hit him, and there's enough space, he is gone because he's that fast. But like
that's why I'm kind of scared for. I'm kind of scared for Tua.
Well, and this is not just like Miami fans saying this. This is like people that watch football and like I guess understand football. Tua lost that game. Miami did not lose that. Tua lost that game. Oh, yeah. And again, I'm not saying Tua's bad. Tua's this. Tua's this. The dude again. And if any player, this has happened to any player. Like, how does it happen to Tua again? Tua played through.
I mean, the O-line's.
I understand. No, I'm talking about how does he play again?
He's a smaller
guy. He hits the ground.
I don't know. It's just
like you have to get put. If you enter concussion protocol, you have to go in the blue tent, and if you don't pass, you don't play.
He came out, and this was before halftime.
It was like 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
They had all of halftime to look after him.
And now McDaniel doesn't know. He just released a quote a few days ago that he doesn't know whether or not.
What? No way! It's been that quick. And then we had Denver, LA play. Don't want to talk about that game. 51-14. 51-14. The Rams won that one.
Oh yeah. The Broncos need help.
Russell Wilson threw for 3 interceptions. They bring in their backup. He throws a pick six right away.
Baker Mayfield might be the best player in the world.
Well, he has a cycle.
Yeah. He only had like 6 incompletions, I think, in that game. He was like, what, 24, 32?
24 or 28. Yeah, they were comparing him to Kurt Warner because he was almost had the same completion percentage as Kurt Warner. It was like the highest in Rams history or something like that.
Good game by Baker. He played really well. Did what they needed him to do, and it worked really well. Cam Akers looked like a real player.
Tampa Bay, Arizona, Buccaneers won that one 19-16. There's no way, bro. And then the Chargers and Indianapolis last night. Chargers are in it. They're in the playoffs after missing it last year to the Raiders. Has it actually been 30 minutes already? Wow. I need to work on scheduling my show a little better.
I didn't check the time before we started.
I know, that's my fault. All right, NBA picks.
NBA picks? Okay.
Oh, wait, can you pull up that one image, I guess, of Tatum and Giannis real quick? Because
Jokic is the MVP. It's not close.
Stop! No.
41-15.
Has anyone three-peated it?
Him.
He's going to be the first
41-15 and 15. He's 7-1. He's a center. And he.
You want to talk about that dunk?
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Do you remember when he did it on LeBron? Like his rookie year in the playoffs, he dunked on him and like chest bumped at him, and he was like, LeBron was like, "Who are you? You're like 19 years old."
I think the Celtics are going back into it. I wish the Celtics and the Bucks were in opposite divisions. I wish like the Bucks were in the Western Conference where I can see them in the finals together.
That would be fun.
That would be so much more beautiful than seeing.
Giannis needs. I don't know what Giannis needs.
Giannis doesn't need anything.
I'm not a big fan.
He's
of
a Pippen.
Yeah,
And
I don't
needs
think
an
Middleton is not.
No.
Middleton is not what he needs. I think he needs more than Middleton because when it comes to the playoff time, it's gonna be the same thing as like.
Dallas hasn't signed Luka, right?
They better.
All right, so Milwaukee goes and gets Luka, and then they team up Luka. Luka's a shooter. He can pass it. He's a 2 spot, but he can play a 1.
It would be the trade package would be you can't touch Giannis. Every single other player on the roster has to go if you want Luka, or you just give up the whole organization.
Yes. Okay, I guess we got to wrap things up. We'll probably bring him back in sooner or later because this was absolutely. We got so much more. We got so much more to talk about than just that because I think we need to schedule it out a little better. That was my fault. But thank you for watching Bird Talk Radio. Thank you for our guest Houston coming on the set. Jake, I hope the sound was fun for you today. And then catch us next week, Monday at 11 a.m. Bird Talk Radio 22 on Facebook, and we'll see you next week. Peace out. Thank you for watching Bird Talk Radio. Again, I am your host, Joshua Martin. If you want to contact me or be on the show, just email me at birdtalkradio2022@gmail.com, or you can call in during the show at 888-994-4995 in Studio A. Have a wonderful day, and remember, go Birds.